Brace for impact, it's Major Mayhem. Alright, settle down, folks. You know, every now and then something comes along in the vast, often terrifying digital landscape that just clicks. I'm talking about mobile games. Yes, those things you stare at on the bus, pretending you're doing something important. But sometimes one of these games isn't just a time waster, it's a hero, a legend. I'm talking, of course, about Major Mayhem. Major Mayhem wasn't about complex narratives or moral quandaries. He was about action. He was about rescuing the girl. He was about shooting bad guys with an impressive array of oversized weaponry. It was simple, it was glorious, and it was addictive. Think of him as the action hero you'd draw in your notebook during a particularly dull math class, suddenly brought to life with a charmingly retro art style and a can-do attitude that could make a drill sergeant blush. He was pure, unadulterated, explosive joy, packed into a downloadable app. The Major wasn't just a game, he was an experience. He represented a time when mobile gaming felt a little more innocent, a little less corporate. You downloaded the game, and you played the game. Imagine that. No endless pop-ups asking you to buy a slightly shinier hat for your digital avatar, or to watch an ad for a game that looks suspiciously like the one you're already playing. Major Mayhem was a breath of fresh cordite-scented air. So buckle up, because we're about to dive headfirst into the world of Major Mayhem. Our story begins, as all great action sagas do, with a damsel in distress. Major Mayhem's beloved girlfriend has been snatched, kidnapped, probably by someone with a penchant for overly elaborate evil plans and a surplus of disposable henchmen. This is the classic setup, the kind of thing that gets an action hero out of bed in the morning, ready to punch, shoot, and generally cause, well, mayhem. The Major, never one to shy away from a challenge, or a really big gun, immediately springs into action. His mission: rescue his girl, defeat the bad guys, and probably blow up a lot of things along the way. The game, aptly titled, throws you right into the thick of it. You're running, you're ducking, you're shooting, ninjas are flying at you. Guys in ridiculous outfits are popping out from behind palm trees and, for some reason, oil drums. It's a relentless onslaught of cartoonish violence, and it's utterly delightful. The Major, with his square jaw and unwavering determination, takes it all in stride. He's not just a soldier, he's a one-man army, a whirlwind of righteous fury cutting a swathe through enemy territory. Each level is a new series of challenges, a new gauntlet of goons to dispatch, all in the noble pursuit of love and probably some really cool weapon upgrades. Just when you thought Major Mayhem had earned a well-deserved vacation, perhaps a nice quiet trip to a tropical island, where, inevitably, more ninjas would probably attack, the stakes get even higher. Because let's face it, after taking down a corrupt president and rescuing your girlfriend, what's next? Domestic bliss? A quiet life in the suburbs? Not for our Major. No, for the sequel, the developers decided that Earth simply wasn't big enough to contain his particular brand of heroic destruction. So where do you send a hero who's conquered terrestrial threats? To the moon, of course. Because apparently, the moon is also in desperate need of saving. The plot of is delightfully bonkers, in the best possible way. It seems the forces of evil, presumably still smarting from their previous defeat, have decided to escalate things. They're not just content with kidnapping significant others or corrupting world leaders anymore. Oh no, they've set their sights on our lovely lunar companion. The moon is under attack, and who are you gonna call? Not the Ghostbusters, folks, not this time. You're gonna call Major Mayhem. He straps on his helmet, probably grabs an even bigger gun, and blasts off into space, ready to deliver some zero-gravity justice. This expansion of the battlefield brought with it new enemies, new environments, and naturally, new ways to cause mayhem. We're talking aliens, robots, and probably some very confused moon men wondering what all the commotion is about. The core gameplay remained that addictive tap-and-shoot formula we all loved, but the change of scenery kept things fresh and exciting. Fighting bad guys in low gravity? Sign me up. It was a bold move taking the action off-planet, but it paid off, proving that the Major's brand of heroism was truly universal. The game managed to retain its charm while literally reaching for the stars. Section 4, The Usual Suspects, a lineup of legendary loons. At the heart of any great story, even one involving copious amounts of cartoon violence, are the characters. And Major Mayhem, bless his pixelated heart, had a memorable cast. First up, obviously, is the man himself, Major Mayhem. He's the strong, silent type, if your definition of silent includes the constant chatter of automatic weapons. With a jawline that could chisel granite and a haircut you could set your watch to, he's the epitome of the classic action hero. He doesn't need witty one-liners, his actions speak louder than words, usually in the form of explosions. He's driven by a simple code: protect the innocent, rescue the girl, and look cool doing it. He's the kind of guy you want on your side when the ninjas hit the fan. Then there's the girlfriend. Now, in many ways, she's the classic damsel in distress, the catalyst for the Major's initial heroic rampage. but let's give her some credit. Being kidnapped by supervillains and held captive in increasingly perilous situations takes a certain kind of resilience. She's the reason our Major fights, the beacon of hope he's striving to reach. While she might not be throwing punches herself, her safety is paramount, providing the emotional core for the Major's relentless pursuit. Section 5, Tap Happy Heroics, Why We Couldn't Stop Playing. Now let's talk about what made Major Mayhem so darn addictive. It wasn't just the explosions, though those certainly helped. It was the gameplay, folks. Pure, unadulterated, tap-to-shoot perfection. The mechanics were deceptively simple. Enemies pop up, you tap them, Major Mayhem shoots them. He automatically runs through the level, ducking behind cover. Your job is to clear the path, protect the Major, and occasionally rescue a hostage or two. It sounds easy, and it is easy to pick up. But mastering it, getting those perfect runs, nailing every shot, unlocking every achievement, that took skill, timing, and a whole lot of tapping. It was the kind of game you could play for 5 minutes or 5 hours. The beauty of Major Mayhem's gameplay was its accessibility. There were no complicated controls to learn, no convoluted menus to navigate. It was intuitive. You saw a bad guy, you tapped him, simple. This low barrier to entry meant anyone could jump in and start having fun immediately. But beneath that simplicity was a surprising amount of depth. Different enemies required different tactics. Section 6, more than just a game, the enduring appeal of the Major. So, why are we still talking about Major Mayhem all these years later? Why does this particular pixelated hero hold such a fond place in our hearts? I think it's because he represents a certain purity of gaming. In a world of hyper-realistic graphics and sprawling open worlds that require a PhD to understand the crafting system, Major Mayhem was a delightful throwback. It was about immediate fun. It was about the simple joy of tapping on bad guys and watching them go poof in a cartoonish explosion. There was an honesty to its design, a clear focus on providing an entertaining experience without any unnecessary frills or predatory monetization schemes. The game tapped into that universal appeal of the action hero fantasy. Who hasn't at some point imagined themselves as the cool, collected hero, effortlessly dispatching waves of enemies to save the day? Major Mayhem let you live out that fantasy, one tap at a time. He was an avatar of empowerment, a small-screen champion who always got the job done, no matter how outlandish the odds. This kind of straightforward heroism is timeless. It doesn't get bogged down in moral ambiguity or complex character arcs. It's about good versus evil, and good has a really big gun. And sometimes, that's exactly what you need from a game. Moreover, Major Mayhem arrived at a time when mobile gaming was still finding its identity. It showed that mobile games didn't have to be shallow time wasters or cynical cash grabs. They could be polished, engaging, and genuinely fun experiences in their own right. It set a standard for quality and player respect that, sadly, not all developers chose to follow. Section 7, a final salute to the Major, our mobile gaming champion. So, as we wrap up this heartfelt, slightly nostalgic, and hopefully not too rambling tribute, let's raise a virtual glass to Major Mayhem. He may not be topping the App Store charts today, he might be considered a forgotten hero by the relentless march of mobile gaming progress, but his impact is undeniable. He was a bright spark, a flash of brilliant, unadulterated fun that lit up our phone screens and reminded us why we fell in love with video games in the first place. He was the little soldier that could, battling ninjas, aliens, and even a corrupt president, all with a stoic expression and an itchy trigger finger. He was, in every sense of the word, a major player. The Major taught us that you don't need convoluted plots or photorealistic graphics to make a great game. You need charm, you need solid mechanics, and you need a hero you can root for. Major Mayhem had all of these in spades. He was the everyman action hero, the guy you'd want by your side in a foxhole, or more realistically, the guy whose game you'd happily play while waiting for your dentist appointment. He made those mundane moments a little more exciting, a little more mayhem-filled, and for that, we owe him a debt of gratitude. He was a true champion of pick-up-and-play gaming. His legacy lives on in the memories of those who played his games, in the developers he inspired, and in the quiet hope that maybe, just maybe, we'll see him return someday. Imagine, Major Mayhem 3, the possibilities are endless. Maybe he has to save the internet this time, or perhaps a particularly aggressive flock of pigeons. Whatever the challenge, we know the Major would face it with his trademark grit, and an arsenal of comically oversized weapons. The world of mobile gaming could certainly use a hero like him again, a hero who prioritizes fun and fairness above all else. He was a true original.